thank all of you for being here. Today marks the culmination of the fall 2025 term of court. I think all of us on the bench think we've had an excellent term of court, and we're here today to thank those people that made that possible. And with that, Justice Hutchison.
Thank you. Is my mic on? Yeah, it is. We all know why I'm here, and it is really, really a sad thing. But having said that, it was very easy for me to step back in and try and help in a very difficult time. But the people that really had to struggle, I think, are the folks that were left behind when Tim passed, and that would be Mark Farrell and Marcia Kaufman, Becky Henschel, Eric Hudnall, and Sandy Cooper. Because what they were left with was this, what in the world is going to happen? And I want to tell you, and I want to thank them especially, they never missed a beat. They never missed a beat. They accepted me, which for some of them might have been a little bit difficult, knowing who I was. And I'm, Tim Armstead and I were really, really good friends. We also came from different perspectives. And a lot of you know that. But they were able to adapt to me and what I was trying to do and trying to help the court get through a really difficult time. So I want to thank each one of those individuals especially because they made it seamless for me. I mean, we had an idea of what we needed to do, and they got it done. And it had to be difficult for them because going from steady kind of program, you know your boss, you know where he's headed, you know what's going on, to having to overnight transition to somebody that they're not used to being with. Those folks in this room that used to work for me will appreciate that, I'm sure. I want to thank Amy and her staff for all your hard work. Keeping, I know I'm old school and I like paper, and I appreciate very much you getting me paper because I can't read crap on a computer screen. It just doesn't work for me because I can't put marks on it. It ruins the screen when you write notes on it. But thank you. And I want to thank Pat Moats and her team for, instantly getting me back in line and back into the system, and it was pretty seamless there. And for everybody else, I'm not going to try and name names because I will obviously leave somebody out. But thank you for all your hard work. It was difficult for you all as well with Tim's passing because it changed the way you had to operate. And so I thank you very much, everybody. I thank the staffs from the other justices for being able to work with my staff and understand how I do things differently and get things done. Finally, I want to thank my colleagues for having the confidence in me to bring me back down here. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoyed it when I was here full-time, but the decision to retire was a good one. It was for me, although that got changed on August 27th, whenever the chief made a phone call and put his pen to paper, and that was that. I'm back. So, but I thank every one of them for putting up with me and dealing with me obviously in a very collegial way. I congratulate especially Tom Ewing for being here his first term and getting through it and being unbelievably impressive in terms of how he presented his positions, and he stepped right in and didn't hold back thinking, I'm the young guy, I need to hold back. He didn't, and I appreciate that. I really, really do. So I think the court's going to be well-served with the group of people that you've got here, and hopefully the governor makes a good decision and gets somebody up here that just kind of meshes right together. So thank all of you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Justice Hutchison. Justice Ewing, your response.
All right, so I survived the first term. It was obviously an interesting experience. Every day was something new. The good thing about it and what helped me and the folks that I brought with me acclimate was the fact that each one of you and the other justices and their staffs were extremely helpful, extremely supportive, and I couldn't have asked for a better place to be, and surrounded by people who were all focused on the mission, and knowing that my job as a new justice was going to be hard to learn the process and the procedure, and I don't have it all down. I'm not going to say I do, but having the support of the other justices and their staffs, obviously the Office of Counsel folks, that was huge for me and my staff. So thank all of you for being inviting, helpful, and supportive. My staff, obviously, I brought 2 folks from circuit court with me that had no idea what this job was going to be like. But the staff attorneys who have been here have been patient with me, telling me to helping me learn to focus, helping teach me to do the job. I appreciate their patience. Jesse and Becky and Lindsay have all been great in that capacity, and I appreciate the efforts that Courtney and Robin have made to get up to speed and be there to help and support as well. I think, you start the term, and we have the unfortunate passing of Justice Armstead, and so a lot of the sort of the happiness or the newness or the excitement about the job kind of dispels, and you've got the reality of what's going on, plus the reality of the grind of the job every day. But to step back and understand how awesome it is to come in here and work in this place, to do what y'all get to do what I get to do, to take a step back and like today, when Sine died, to appreciate that and know what it means. That it's an awesome opportunity. And so I'm thankful to have gotten it, and I'm thankful for the support of everyone in this room. I also think it's important to thank Justice Hutchinson for giving up his leisurely retirement with golf and fishing and whatever. I think that was Kirkpatrick. You're not the fisherman. Golf, certainly. But putting that aside to come here and go through this grind every day and be here to help the rest of us as collectively of a court do this job, I think he was a tremendous mentor for me before, and having him here as I started out has been sort of like a helpful crutch, to be honest with you. So I appreciate that. And then finally, I appreciate the other 3 of you for your patience and your help as I try to learn to do this job. So again, it's been a great experience so far, and I'm thankful for the opportunity, and hopefully I can keep doing it.
Thank you, Justice Ewing. Justice Trump.
Thank you, Chief Justice Wooten. In my short time here, every single day, I'm impressed by the commitment to justice demonstrated by the people in this room. Justice for the citizens of West Virginia by all of you. It starts with my colleagues on the court, of course, who demonstrate continuously their commitment to the rule of law and to the principles of equal justice under the law. I'm grateful more than I can say for their leadership and example, their willingness to mentor me, and it is an honor to serve with all of my colleagues here in this court. The example that they set is evident throughout the whole judicial branch and everyone who works here. And that includes the office of the clerk, the administrative office, the office of counsel, our court security, and that's just here in Charleston, but not just here in Charleston, but throughout the entire state. For me personally, I could not imagine trying to do this job without the help and assistance from the staff who've been assigned to me. And I want to mention all four of my staff attorneys, Mary Blades and Scott Johnson, Kristen Boggs, and Sarah Canterbury, as well as my administrative assistant, Cassandra Henry, who not only knows all my foibles, but somehow manages to keep me pointed in the right direction and on track most times. You all are so impressive. Your research skills, your writing skills, importantly, your editing skills, and many others. And not the least of which is the vision that you have for how what we write or produce, what its consequences might be to future generations of West Virginians. It's so important. This year's been a challenging year for the court. In June, we had the retirement of this court's most senior justice at the time. Our newest justice here, Tom Ewing. I want to say thank you for your willingness to put your name forward and allow yourself to be considered for this job. I consider your appointment to be one of the great acts of our Governor Morrissey. And I want everybody here to know that every day here, Tom demonstrates why he belongs on this court. And I have no doubt that it was, accompanied by enormous sudden disruption in your life to take this post. But and I'm sure I'm not alone on this bench, I'm glad that you did. As others have mentioned, we were hit earlier this year with sudden and most unwelcome passing of Justice Armstead, who, after Beth Walker's retirement, was the senior justice on this court. And that, has been difficult for everyone to deal with. I had a 30-year relationship with Tim, and I miss him terribly. But I will say this, God bless John Hutchison. Others have said it, but I want to say it too. At the call of the chief, he gave up his comfy, cozy retirement and stepped into the breach. It's been really important for the court that he was willing to do that. So, Justice Hutchison, thank you so much for that. Chief Justice Wooten, you've had a full plate during your year here as chief. If you roll the clock back, I'm not talking just about budget challenges. If you roll the clock back a year, year ago today, and think about it, you've had to preside over a court from which the three most senior justices a year ago are gone, sort of. Two retirements and one untimely passing. And so I know that's been challenging, Chief, for you, but you've managed it with grace and dignity and lots of skill and management in a very collaborative process on all the important decisions that we've had to make. So I congratulate you for steering the ship of this court through those challenges. You've had to deal with three, before the year's over, before this year's over, likely you will have, during the course of your tenure, when your tenure as chief, three brand-new baby justices. And I know that's got to be challenging, but as I said, you've done it with extraordinary management in a collaborative process. To my colleague, Justice Bunn, I want to say, and I'm sure I'm not the only one here who would say it, I have absolutely no doubt about your readiness to succeed in the role of chief when that occurs, when the court reconvenes next year, and to deliver, this court on its mission without missing a beat from what Chief Justice Wooten has been able to do. For the people who don't get to sit in our conference room with us, I'll say I get a daily view of Justice Bunn demonstrating her preparedness and readiness to undertake that responsibility. And I have every confidence that your tenure as chief is going to lead this court to further success and as its next Chief Justice. Finally, I just want to say we all enjoy an enormous privilege, a privilege and a responsibility, the administration of the rule of law and justice for the citizens of West Virginia. I believe, in my great 11 months of experience, from what I've seen, the citizens of this state are well served by the dedication and commitment, not just of my colleagues on this court, but all of you assembled here, and the many others throughout the corners of this great state. So as we prepare to adjourn this term of court, I want to earnestly say thank you to all of you, and well done.
Thank you, Justice Trump. Justice Bunn.
Thank you, Chief. Happy to be able to say that again in this room. I know that coming in here for a ceremony might be something you want to do or you don't want to do, but I do think marking today is very important. As you have heard through each justice's comments, this has been a time of incredible change. Since I have been on the court, which seems like yesterday, but somehow I'm now the second most senior justice on this court, we have welcomed a new administrative director. We have welcomed a new clerk. And we have, or will welcome soon, 3 new justices. And everything continues to work seamlessly. That is because we, the clerk, the administrative director, the 5 of us that sit up here, we are not the institution. You are. You folks who are here making the work happen, making it happen well, making it happen with integrity and commitment to justice and the rule of law and the way it needs to get done every single day. And I know sometimes whatever your role is in this institution, whether it be as lawyer, accountant, our Alex, taking our photos and documenting. Every small thing that you do reflects on this branch and keeps this branch running. And we cannot lose sight of the fact that the way we conduct ourselves in our jobs every single day inspires confidence from the public in our branch. And I think in these times, these divisive times, these times of change, and a lot of things that are beyond our control, we need to recommit ourselves at the end of this term to continuing to represent the judicial branch, the unchanging, the steady judicial branch, the rule of law well every single day. And I am so proud to call each and every one of you my colleagues, and just my fellow warriors on this mission to continue our commitment to that and the people of West Virginia. So I do just want to say a few things about my personal staff. Carol, Meredith, Sarah, Teresa, and Kate. You make my job so much easier. You're so much smarter than me, and I'm in awe of each of you every day. And one thing that I think maybe Justice Ewing maybe has experienced this term, this job can be heavy, very heavy, and it can be lonely. But when you have a good team around you, supporting you, committed to the institution, and doing the job so well, it really, really helps. And also, we have fun doing it, right? We don't take ourselves too seriously. So to all 5 of you, thank you for keeping the trains running, for dealing with my ever picky moods and wanting to talk about nerdy things like the rule of evidence, and you indulge me in these conversations all the time. Thank you for that. To the Office of Counsel, to the clerk's office staff, let's be real, we wouldn't get to do anything without you getting it ready for us. You do the work every day to just bring it to us, to package it up, to put a bow on it. And even though we don't always listen to you, a lot of times we give you an "I told you so" afterward. But we really appreciate the work that you do every day. And I just ask that you recommit yourself to it at the end of this very successful term. All the folks in the administrative office, Luke, Sue, I'm looking around trying to see some other folks. You keep the trains running on time, and not just here in Charleston, top to bottom. And I know this has been a rough year when it comes to the nuts and bolts of things, and having to make some tough decisions, and having the court make some tough decisions that have made your lives maybe a little bit harder. But you have all met the challenge and are doing a wonderful job to keep the branch running, as is our constitutional duty, each and every one of us. Finally, to the folks up here, it is my honor and privilege to serve with each of you. I have never felt such relief as I felt when Hutch walked in to my office the day after Tim died. His big frame darkened my door, and I gave him a hug, and I knew we were going to be okay, despite what had happened. I knew the institution would carry on. I know his commitment to this institution. And I've thanked him publicly before, and I'm going to thank him again. But I will be forever thanking him for coming up here, picking up the burden without a complaint, and immediately just carrying on Tim's legacy. So thank you for that, Hutch. And you're welcome to Vicki for getting you out of her way for at least a few months. Justice Ewing, I have never been more excited than I was to hear that you had been the person appointed to this seat. While I miss my colleague Beth so much, you have seamlessly stepped in. You've brought a wonderful perspective that is bringing real value to the court, and you came in difficult circumstances with Tim's passing and other things, but you didn't let any of it thwart you or stop you from just jumping right in. And I am excited to continue to serve with you, for sure. Justice Trump, I think you've hit your stride in this second term. You are a wonderful colleague. Your unique perspective and your commitment to the rule of law is admirable, wonderful. You can't be swayed in a good way. I love that you always listen, but your commitment to your views and your perspective is unwavering. It's wonderful. And Chief, thank you for being the senior justice here. Thank you for your commitment to this court's history and legacy, and as Justice Trump said, navigating us through this most difficult of years that you didn't really sign up for, right? It kind of was dropped in your lap, and you handled it masterfully. It has been a pleasure to serve under your leadership, and I'm just excited for what next year brings, and glad that we successfully, all together, arm in arm, closed this successful term of 2025. So, thank you.
Thank you, Justice Bunn. All of us are a part of a continuum of an institution that's been around, I'm guessing, about 160 years, and it culminates, it just continues to build on our precedent. And at times, our precedent can go in different directions. I'm very grateful for the precedent established by Justice Beth Walker and Justice Tim Armstead and Justice John Hutchison, who became the leaders of this court following 2018. And they began to refer to this court as the new court, which I think denotes a change in direction within the internal operation of the court. This court, since that bunch became three of the justices, has focused almost exclusively on collegiality. Anything less than collegial would not be tolerated. And that's made this a much more effective court and a much better place for all of us and for all of you to work. So we should never forget the legacy that Walker and Armstead and Hutchison left us. Our Constitution requires the court to have 2 terms a year, and statutorily, one of those terms begins on the second Tuesday in January. The other one begins on the first Wednesday in September. So that those parameters, the beginning dates, pretty well dictate the ending date. And it's important, as Justice Bunn indicated, that we acknowledge the culmination of this term of court. Justice Bunn mentioned challenges that I've had as chief, and I'll point out to her that that's the norm. Tim Armstead had it with COVID. John Hutchison had a new building to acquire and a new branch of government to create. I don't know what the future holds, but I can guarantee you it's not something you've anticipated. The reason we function so well is the continuity provided by the staff. each and every one of you make a contribution that is invaluable to all of us. The administrative office and its divisions, under the leadership of Keith Hoover, just provide impeccable service and assistance to every one of us. Casey Forbes and his staff and the leadership could not perform better. It just is a real asset to all of us. Those of us sitting on the bench, most of our interaction is with Amy Johnson and her staff in the Office of Counsel. I don't think you could do better than you do. You just really provide great service to all of us. Most of the work that is perceived by the public as having been accomplished by this court emanates from your office by a significant percentage. So we're all very grateful for that. It makes the court able to boast about the number of cases we deal with every term, every year. So thank you. I want to personally thank the members of my staff, Barbara and Diana and Pete and Jennifer. Just do a remarkable job. If Justice Bunn's staff are all smarter than she is, I don't know a superlative I can use to describe the distinction between me and my staff. But it's a real blessing to have that. And of course, the one that keeps us all on track is Kim Bowling, my assistant, who's made a mark even for the rest of the court. They like your agendas for our conferences. And I like a lot more than that. Thank you. I'm the senior justice on this court. This time last year, I was the second most junior, which is a remarkable change. A real blessing on this term of court is the way we traditionally function. The junior justice in conferences always goes first. So he has to explain his or her vote and cast his vote. And then all the rest of us get to explain how we might want to modify that. A blessing for this court, it emanates from a real tragedy. I think Tim Armstead was a close friend to every member of the court. It's just by personality. And I suspect for most of you, Tim Armstead was a close friend. Because of Tim's passing, we functioned this term of court with the justice who had the most experience as a Supreme Court justice being our junior member. And let me tell you, that's a real blessing when you sit where we do. One of the real treats of being a new Supreme Court justice is you got to go first. Sadly, Tom Ewing missed that opportunity.
Thankfully.
You guys have done a lot of terrific things that in the area of technology, I could not even explain what you've done. But Kim will tell me what I need to know. But on behalf of all of us, I want to thank each and every one of you for the contribution you made to this term. I think it was a highly successful term, and that's to your credit. Personally, it's been a terrific honor for me to sit in this middle chair for this past year. I very much appreciate the kind words each of you said. More so, I appreciate the support that you and advice you've given me throughout this term. And likewise, I appreciate the support and advice I've received from each of you that I've worked with. One last thing, Tammy Smith works in payroll, is retiring after 47 years with the Supreme Court. She's having a reception, or the court's having a reception in the tower, Judicial Tower, from 11 to 1. It's on the 11th floor, and we're all invited, so if you want to stop by, that'd be nice. But I beg your pardon, we go to the 11th. Tammy's having her party on the 7th floor. Thank you. And with that, I want to thank you again for all that you've done this term, to wish you a joyous holiday season. Thank you.